In the history of Japan, there are many famous swords, each often associated with historical anecdotes. Among these, there are swords believed to possess supernatural powers or curses, known and feared as Youtou, or cursed swords. Even today, these mythical swords frequently appear in anime, video games, and other creative works, gaining widespread popularity. In this video, we will introduce the top 5 most cursed swords from Japanese history. Number 5. Hotaru Maru. Hotaru Maru is a long tachi, or o-tachi, believed to be crafted by the swordsmith Raikiri during the Kamakura period. An o-tachi refers to a large type of tachi with a blade length over 35.4 inches, primarily used as a weapon for mounted warriors in battlefields. Hotaru Maru was passed down to the Aso family, who served as the chief priests of the Aso Shrine in Kumamoto Prefecture. This sword has an impressive total length of about 53.5 inches, with the blade itself measuring approximately 39.4 inches. The name Hotaru Maru originates from an anecdote related to Aso Korezumi, a priest of Aso Shrine. In 1336, during the Battle of Tatarahama, Korezumi wielded this sword to aid a certain general, but the battle ended in defeat. A mysterious event occurred with the sword that night. Despite suffering from chips and damage in the fierce battle, the sword's fragments flew back to it, fitting themselves back into the damaged areas and repairing the blade autonomously. This spectacle, resembling fireflies, led Korezumi to name the sword Hotaru Maru. However, there's a sorrowful legend associated with Hotaru Maru. The sword later came into the possession of the Mitai family, which eventually fell into ruin. A surviving warrior, hiding on a mountain path at night with the sword strapped to his waist, witnessed it suddenly emit a pale blue light. This light exposed him to the enemy, and, realizing his imminent capture, he is said to have taken his own life. Thus the mysteriously glowing Hotaru Maru was later treasured as an artifact of the Aso Shrine. It was designated a national treasure in the early Showa period, but went missing during the post-World War II turmoil and remains unaccounted for to this day. Number 4. Nenekiri Maru. Nenekiri Maru is a sword created during the Nambokucho period, known as a cursed sword that was used to slay demons. The most notable feature of this sword is its size, with a total length of 127.6 inches, a blade length of 85.3 inches, and a remarkable weight of 53 pounds. It is one of the largest Japanese swords. Given its immense size, it is believed to have been crafted for ceremonial dedication. This sword is currently housed in the Nikko Futarasan Shrine in Tochigi Prefecture. The origin of the name Nenekiri Maru comes from a legend. According to folklore, there once was a demon named Nene in the mountains of Nikko who caused trouble in the village. One day, this sword, housed in the Nikko Futarasan Shrine, began to rattle and unsheathed itself. It flew out of the hall and soared towards the demon. The startled demon fled through the mountains and streams, but the sword eventually cornered it in front of the shrine and swiftly cut it down, before returning smoothly to its scabbard. From this tale, the name Nenekiri Maru was derived. As for the demon's true identity, there are theories that it was the famous Japanese demon Kappa, or that it represented a natural disaster personified as a demon. The creator of Nenekiri Maru, made in the Nambokucho period, remains unknown. Some speculate it could have been Sanjo Munichika, who forged one of the Tenkagoken, 5 swords under heaven, Mikazuki Munechika. Traditionally, the sword is displayed on the skin of a deer caught in the mountains during an annual festival held in April at the shrine, a ritual that has continued for over 1,200 years. Number 3. Raikiri. Raikiri, also known as Lightning Cutter, is a legendary sword with the peculiar myth of being able to slice through invisible objects. It was the beloved sword of Tachibana Dosetsu, a warlord of the Sengoku period. While many famous swords are known to have been made by renowned swordsmiths, this one was unsigned, making it relatively unknown until it came into his possession. Dosetsu, known as a military genius and for his profound loyalty to his lord, led around 140 battles in his lifetime, boasting an undefeated record when in command. Originally, the sword was called Chidori, or 1,000 birds, due to a bird decoration on its handle. The name Raikiri, or lightning cutter, originated from an extraordinary tale. Around 1548, during a hot day, Dosetsu was napping under a large tree when a sudden thunderstorm approached. As lightning struck towards the tree, he swiftly drew his sword and allegedly sliced through the lightning, narrowly saving his life. From this incident, the sword was named Raikiri. There's also a variant of the story where he is said to have cut down a thunder god, not the lightning. It may seem hard to believe, but in reality, Dosetsu became physically impaired in his left leg as a result of this incident. Despite his disability, he continued to participate in battles, riding in a palanquin. His appearance on the battlefield, commanding and defeating enemies from his palanquin, earned him the fearsome nickname Raijin, or Thunder God. Currently, the Raikiri is housed in the Tachibana Historical Museum in Fukuoka Prefecture. Intriguingly, some speculate that the notches on the blade's tip might be remnants from when the sword allegedly sliced through lightning. Number 2. Onimaru Kunitsuna. Onimaru Kunitsuna is a masterpiece created by the famous swordsmith Awataguchi Kunitsuna during the Kamakura period. This sword is currently a part of the imperial regalia known as Gyobutsu. Due to its status, it is rarely exhibited to the public. The blade length of this sword is 30.8 inches, and it is known for its exceptionally pronounced curvature, a rarity among Japanese swords. The name Onimaru Kunitsuna is derived from a legend. The 5th regent of the Kamakura shogunate, Hojo Tokiyori, then the most powerful man in Japan, was tormented by a demon in his dreams. No exorcism was effective, and he was weakening rapidly. One night, an old man who called himself Onimaru Kunitsuna appeared in his dream, saying, "I've rusted and can't be drawn from my sheath because I was held by corrupt hands. Clean my rust, and I'll vanquish the demon for you." Following the dream, he cleaned the rust off his sword. After care, he propped the sword by his bedside. The sword fell, severing the leg of a nearby brazier. When he examined the severed decoration, it resembled the face of the demon from his dreams. After this incident, he recovered. Since then, this sword has been passed down as a treasured weapon of the Hojo family. Onimaru Kunitsuna has had many owners throughout history. However, almost every house that possessed this sword has perished. The Hojo and Ashikaga families, who once possessed this sword, eventually met their downfall. Subsequently, the sword came into the hands of Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the most powerful shogun of his time. Sensing something ominous about the sword, he entrusted it to the Honami family, renowned sword appraisers. After the fall of the Toyotomi clan, all their swords were transferred to the Tokugawa family. However, Tokugawa Ieyasu refused to accept this sword, fearing its ominous reputation. In the Meiji era, as the Honami family declined, the sword was presented to the emperor and has since remained a private property of the imperial family. Number 1. The Muramasa Swords. During the Edo period, there was a sword feared as a Youtou, demonic blade, which samurai hesitated to possess. This was the Muramasa. The term Muramasa refers to both the name of a school of swordsmiths from the Ise province, Kuwana, and the swords forged by this school. A distinguishing feature of Muramasa's swords is the consistent blade patterns on both sides, exuding a commanding style. It is said that every samurai aspired to own such a coveted piece at least once in their lifetime. While Muramasa's swords were popular as masterpieces, as the Edo period progressed, they became notorious as cursed blades against the Tokugawa family. Tokugawa Ieyasu established the Edo shogunate, unified Japan, and built a peace that lasted for over 260 years. Despite achieving unification, numerous misfortunes occurred throughout his life. During his alliance with Oda Nobunaga, his primary wife, Tsukiyama Nono, and his eldest son, Matsudaira Nobuyasu, were suspected of collusion with the Takeda clan. As a result, under Nobunaga's orders, they both committed seppuku using a Muramasa blade. In another incident, during the summer campaign of the siege of Osaka, the formidable warrior Sanada Yukimura surprised Ieyasu's main camp, and the short blade he hurled was, astonishingly, a Muramasa. The legends of Muramasa's cursed blades continue. In fact, even before Ieyasu's birth, Muramasa's blades had been bringing misfortune upon the Tokugawa family. Firstly, we talk about Ieyasu's grandfather, the renowned general Matsudaira Kiyoyasu. In 1530, while on a campaign to subdue enemy lords, Kiyoyasu was suddenly assassinated in his camp by one of his own retainers. This retainer mistakenly believed that Kiyoyasu had killed his father. Due to this incident, the Matsudaira clan lost its unity and began to decline. Shockingly, the blade used in this assassination was a Muramasa. Next is Ieyasu's father, Matsudaira Hirotada. After the assassination of Kiyoyasu, Hirotada, at a young age, inherited the leadership and managed to maintain his domain only by submitting to neighboring lords. In 1549, during a drinking session, one of his close aides, Iwamatsu Hachiya, suddenly went berserk and killed Hirotada with a side blade. Once again, the blade used was a Muramasa. In essence, Ieyasu lost his grandfather, father, son, and even his wife, all due to the cursed Muramasa blades. Ieyasu, realizing that Muramasa's swords were cursed, forbade all his retainers from possessing a Muramasa blade. Additionally, due to its reputation as a cursed sword that brought harm to the Tokugawa family, many daimyos related to the Tokugawa began to discard their Muramasa swords. The Muramasa swords, historically known as the most feared cursed swords, continue to be a subject of fascination and are frequently featured in various works of fiction. The name Muramasa is often synonymous with the idea of a cursed sword. Several Muramasa swords still exist and can be viewed in museums across Japan. We hope you enjoyed this exploration into the world of Japanese swords. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exciting content about the history of Japanese swords. Until next time, sayonara.